Good afternoon, Vallejo. This is Deborah Dickson, the host of Our Voices. And today I have as our guest Miss Alyssa Alford, an analyst with the City of Vallejo. And this is the participatory budget winners. Alyssa, welcome. I'm just real pleased to have you back.
Thank you.
I almost feel like you're a regular on my show.
I know. I think this is the third time.
I've had you on the show. But I think that the participatory budget process was so very important. I understand Vallejo was used as a model all over the country. Would you talk a little bit about that? I understand that the whole participatory group from... Go ahead.
Sure. So here in Vallejo, we are the only city in the U.S. that does PB to give funds to capital infrastructure improvements as well as programs and services. So in September, PBP, which is a participatory budgeting project, they actually had one day in Vallejo with their big annual conference, and they came to Vallejo. It was great. We had people here from the U.S., from other countries to really come and look at Vallejo and see what we're doing in Vallejo for PB. They were also able to attend our first vote and expo on the waterfront. We had live music and food, so it was great.
So sorry I missed it. I heard it was, I really did. I heard it was fantastic. There was a lot of great feedback from that. And again, what better way to showcase Vallejo and Vallejoans? We should be so proud of ourselves to be the only city in the nation to have participated in this particular process. So, and the winners are, I mean, there are so many different steps that you all had to go through, and I know it was a whole group of you. Would you talk a little bit about the outreach process, how you guys started out, and then we'll bring up to date and we'll start talking about the winners.
Sure. So for PB, we really wanted to make sure that we were engaging all of our residents, or at least as many as we could reach. From South Vallejo to North Vallejo, East, West, and even Central, no matter your demographic, how much money you make, your education level, your age, we really wanted to make sure that residents were able to come out and vote. So we had our Get Out the Vote campaign, about, I would say, 20 to 30 volunteers. We went canvassing in the Crest, literally knocking door to door. We went to our neighbors in the Filipino community and dropped flyers. We went to restaurants and dropped leaflets. We did different presentations to organizations here in Vallejo. So again, I think it was great because this time around we knew that more than what city staff can do, we really needed to make partnerships for Vallejo. So anywhere we could go and say a few words, drop a flyer, knock on a door, we really tried to go. There were so many organizations in Vallejo that really helped us, from VCAT to the African American Alliance to the Filipino American Chamber of Commerce. I think really just trying to join with those organizations and schools, I think made a big difference this time around.
That's fantastic. That's a great way to outreach because, you know, you as you say, you include everybody from the seniors, the different ethnicities, and you know the whole gamut. So that's wonderful. I'm happy to hear that process. Would you tell me what you would do differently with that process right now, since you know we passed with that, and I know that we're going to do some more. So what would you all do a little bit differently?
Definitely. I think that anytime we do outreach, I always go home at night. I think, oh, I should have done this. I should have done that. I think on our end, even though we partnered with organizations, I think it doesn't hurt to partner with more. I think that maybe if we had made more partnerships, even though we made a good effort to make some, who knows, maybe we would have had greater turnout. I also think that this time around, we were able to go to different schools and do presentations, but perhaps talking to the students beforehand, even maybe months in advance, would have helped a lot. For our youth, if they're 16 and older, they can vote. But I did notice that sometimes you lose young adults. From 18 to early 30s. That's an age group that sometimes it's hard to capture. So I do think that if we had linked up with more organizations for that age group, perhaps we would have really gotten them to come out. So I think continuing to do more partnerships, and maybe even sooner than when the vote is coming, I think that would help a lot. So any way we can learn, we're not afraid to admit what we could have done better. I think that was exciting. exciting, and we could do it better.
That's the good part about doing something, because once you've done it, now you can turn around and you can look back and you say, okay, you know, if I had done this, this, or this, you know, probably we would have pulled in more people. I think that, again, from your perspective, you all were trying to be as collaborative and inclusive as possible. But I know from experience that it's real difficult to reach a lot of organizations, you know, where they have their meetings at certain times of the month, and, you know, they have to go and go through their process before they're allowed to say that, you know, yes, we can partner with you, or yes, we can collaborate with you in this effort. So, but there were lots of signage all over town. Let's talk about the signage. I mean, everywhere you went, there was signs.
Yes. For PB, we definitely wanted to make sure that if we couldn't talk to you directly, we at least wanted you to see our signs. So from the Auto Mall, putting our signs there on the big LED screen, to putting lawn signs and banners around Vallejo. With our steering committee, we also had a subgroup that looked over our literature to make sure that they felt it would get as many voters as possible. So you're right. If we couldn't talk to you directly, we were going to put a lawn sign in your community, and we're going to drop a flyer where we think you would go shopping. Definitely.
Well, you were very effective with that. I don't really think that you could go back and look and do anything more with that, because there, truly, I saw the votes and the participatory budget signs all over town, everywhere. I mean, just, you know, schools, not schools, excuse me, but people's private lawns, on businesses, on fence. I mean, just absolutely everywhere throughout this town. So I think you did a very, very good job in terms of that signage out. So talked a little bit about why PB came about and the outreach for it, and what you could do better. In terms of the voting process, let's talk a little bit about that voting process. And, you know, when you reach certain demographics, like the 18 to, let's say, probably about 34, that was a big gap that you missed. How do you think you could capture that age group? You probably fit somewhere around in that age group.
Yeah, you know, I think with people my age, I think we're at that moment where we're so busy with either graduating from college or trying to get a job, trying to establish ourselves, that I think sometimes we get in a bubble and we don't think about what's around us.
Yes.
So I think something that we definitely could do better is finding out where are they going, whether it be to hang out or where are they having their meetings, or they do congregate and fellowship with one another. I think really making literature for them specifically. We had flyers for the schools, for the youth, and for, you know, the general public, but maybe even flyers or literature specifically for them.
Yes.
And again, really finding out where are they. There is a group locally, I believe they're called the Motivated Young People of Benicia and Vallejo, and they were great. I saw that they were able to post about us on their forums board. So again, just reaching out and finding out where are they and how are they getting their information. We are on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter.
That's how you're getting the information. You're tweeting and doing the whole
So we are on there. We're on there. You know, I try to tweet as much as I can. So really just finding out where are they, and I think even bringing them on board, asking them, for you, what is the best way to reach you, to reach your peers? I think partnering with them a lot more is something we can do better.
That would be a lovely, lovely question to post on their forum, because who better could answer? I mean, you know, you could get lots and lots of responses on that, because you have to be able to find a way to include them in. And as you say, they're just, you know, graduating from college. They're trying to, you know, probably still living at their parents' home, still trying to find their way and, you know, get a job so they can pay off these huge college loans that they have.
I know,
you know, very important, and move out of mom and dad's basement or their childhood bedroom in my case. So I think that more of the social outreach and outlets that that age group use will probably be the most effective thing for you. So, but I want to talk about being able to come and count those votes. Oh my goodness, what a process.
Yes.
How did that get set up? And I'll tell you my little tiny piece I played in it, but talk about how that got set up and what was the reasoning behind it and all that.
Okay, so we actually work with PBP, Participatory Budgeting Project, and they're always giving us good advice. I will say that it was my coworker, Aaliyah Gage. I call her like our dead mother because she's so organized. She cares about the community so much. So really, she put the vote counting together. You know, how to get volunteers, what is the process for counting them. I know you were there, so you saw all the sticky notes and the laptops. We work with Stanford University, and they actually were able to make a platform for us for the voting. So she really was able to look at what Stanford was doing and what we need to do, and she did a great job developing it. So I just have to give her props for that.
Well, she was fabulous. I mean, I walked in, you know, and people behind me, they would walk in and you kind of look around, you see all these people sitting at these long tables, you really didn't know what was going on. And in a matter of 5 minutes, she had you in front of this laptop. She had you with your own set of ballots to count. And you had specific instructions on, you know, what counted and what didn't, and you put your notes on it, and then you had a person checking, so that were two people that worked together, so that you didn't, you know, oh gosh, did I forget to count that, or did I put, you know, so one input it and the other one counted. I spent a couple hours down there, and I was really impressed with how well it ran. Because it could have been chaos, but I mean, really, but it was absolutely, it was ran very, very nicely, and you may tell her that I said so. I appreciated it because I saw all the detail work that went into doing that and inputting that into the computer, and she was able to, if you forgot or lost your place or whatever, she was able to come and just go right in and find where you were to make sure that you were right back on track. And so it was a good process. It was.
Great. Yeah, I think even for me, I did some vote counting. It was fun. At first, I was nervous counting it in the lobby of City Hall, just thinking the hustle and bustle, but it was great. I think having it out in the open, the lobby of City Hall, show the transparency. We're not in a back room counting your ballots. As you mentioned, if you were counting ballots, you had a helper to check it with you.
Right.
So it was great. You know, we fed everyone pizza, so I was happy. So it was great. It was a good, fun experience. Very organized.
Yeah, it really was. And I appreciate it. You be sure and let her know that. Okay, now here comes ta-da-dam, the winners.
Yes.
Okay, talk about the winners, Miss Alyssa.
Yes, so we have our winners. We have 8 projects. They're all very exciting, different in their own right. Our budget delegates, which are the community volunteers, they had all of these projects thrown at them, and they had to whittle them down, look at them, see if they're feasible, see if it's something we can actually implement and get on the ballot. So we do have our 8 that will be implemented here in Vallejo. Again, exciting, different, great for the community. So I'm excited to see them rolled out and implemented.
Tell me, I know it was a huge number, but tell me what you started out with, all the different projects, the number of projects that you started out with.
Yes, 642.
Holy.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And whittled down to the vote to?
Our ballot had 25 projects.
Wow.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
So our budget delegates worked very long, very hard with the help of their facilitators and the steering committee and support from city staff. They did an amazing job just whittling them down.
Yeah, I mean, 642 down to 25?
Yes.
Oh, that's an awesome job.
Yeah, they did a great job.
Yeah, they really did. So I understand some of the people weren't happy with the types of projects that were finally put on there, but to be able to bring something down from this huge, gigantic amount down to something, you're not going to make everybody happy. That's
true.
That's just
very true. We try, but
the long and
true.
the short of it. Some people are just not going to be happy. So tell us what the top vote getter was.
Okay, so the number 1 project was Help the Homeless, seniors and disabled kids. That one had almost 2,000 votes. So by all means, that was the top project that was voted.
Okay, and if you get just a little summary about the project.
Okay, so this project, it's a little different from the others in the sense that voters voted for it and city council actually will determine what it looks like. We wanted to make sure that how we help this population that definitely needs help in Vallejo, it's done in the best way, it's done in a timely manner. The budget delegates only had a few months really to take an idea and develop it into a real project. So to really make sure that our homeless friends and neighbors really get the help they deserve, we decided that instead of, trying to force the project into this many months, that City Council will decide how to spend these funds to help our homeless and our friends in the neighborhoods living, unfortunately, on the streets of Vallejo, and really decide what is the best way to implement it. So City Council will be meeting with stakeholders here in Vallejo and the budget delegates that worked on this project, and really sitting down face to face and talking about, how should we spend this money to help our homeless friends. So this one, it may take some time. I think it'll be an adventure, but again, I think this issue is so important.
Well, it's a big issue.
And it's a big issue.
It's a big issue, even if you throw, way more money at it than what is allocated here. I don't think that you could really touch all of the parts of it that you would need to touch with that issue. So then the next biggest vote getter was
prioritizing streets, potholes, repaving. So it's a tongue twister, and even as I say it, I'm like, am I saying it right?
Prioritize.
Yeah. So I think we can all agree that in Vallejo, we have roads that need to be repaved. Sometimes we're driving and we're wobbling, and unfortunately, we do have some streets that need a lot of love. So this project will allow Public Works to repave many of our streets, residential streets, which is exciting. At the city, we do get federal funds. However, there are stipulations where they can and cannot be used, and oftentimes residential streets just don't make the cut, unfortunately. So PB funds will allow Public Works to repave residential streets, which are the streets that definitely affect us outside of our homes and our communities. So that's another really exciting.
Yes, and I heard the other side of that was that, well, gosh, aren't our taxes already paying for that? Aren't our city dollars already paying for that? But I believe you just explained that yes, it would be for main thoroughfares and main streets, but not particularly residential streets. Is that right?
Yeah, often when Public Works gets these grants or funds, as you mentioned, they're for major intersection commercial streets. I think a lot of people don't realize that oftentimes residential streets aren't on that list. So again, Public Works will be able to look at streets in residential neighborhoods and really figure out which ones need to be repaved. So I'm excited about that.
Okay, great. Okay, number 3?
Number 3 is improving school meals.
Yes.
It needs to be done.
That one I voted for. I was so happy that won. Oh my gracious, I was so happy that won, because it's really important. We talk about wanting our kids to pay attention. If they're hungry, or if the meals that they're being fed, if they don't like them, they're not going to eat them. They're hungry. What are we going to do? So that's real exciting that came in number 3.
Good. That one's exciting for me too. I went to Jesse Bethel High School. I went to Vallejo Middle School, so I understand how important school lunches are and really getting kids to eat them in the best way. Yeah. It's hard sometimes, but I think it's a good step.
Yeah. Well, wonderful, good. So what does that exactly mean? I didn't really understand it. I know I wanted better meals for the children, but tell me what that exactly means.
Yeah, I think this is one that when you see the title, you see the title, you're not sure, so reading the description is so important. What this project will do is bring in a chef to work with food services at the school district and really teach them how to make the food appealing to students, what is the best way to present it. So it isn't so much throwing nutritional facts at the school district, that is important. But again, it's bringing a cultural relevance to the food and really presenting it in the best way for the students to eat it.
Okay.
So again, I think that one is exciting. I'm excited to see how it's rolled out. I wonder if I can sneak in the kitchen and get a cooking lesson. I don't know.
I'm very happy about that. Number 4.
This one is Summer Youth Employment and Internship Program. So this one actually will be implemented by the school district. Right now they do have an internship program where they allow 50 students to have summer jobs and summer internships. So we'll actually be able to beef up this project by 56 students. So 6 students paid, of course,